prosecutor who charged the Barnetts with neglect of a child or dependent has asked the court for a gag order to prevent them from leaking any more information to the press. They argue that the widely publicized case has been extremely one-sided in the media, and that is going to affect the trial as a whole. First of all, how the heck are they going to find an unbiased jury to oversee this case and deliver a fair verdict if everyone on earth has heard about a one-sided narrative on Natalia Barnett? I'm going to serve you this update here for you on I.O. Welcome back to InformOverload, where we keep you up to date with some of the biggest, most interesting news stories trending on the internet. I'm Charlotte Del Rey. Subscribe for all the latest updates on Natalia Barnett and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. On Monday morning, in the Tippecanoe Superior Court, Deputy Prosecutor Jackie Starbuck asked the court to stop Christine and Michael Barnett from releasing, quote, any medical, mental health, or education records about Natalia Grace, the girl who the Barnetts claimed in highly publicized interviews was actually an adult who made them believe she was a child and put their life at risk. The state filing said, the state is concerned that Michael or Christine Barnett or their agents will release documents provided in discovery or will divulge the contents of those documents, a large portion of which are medical records and educational records. The filing also states that putting information out into the media will prejudice a fair trial. There are over 70 articles in multiple languages regarding this case. The state also argues that the court should consider the victim and her rights, as the publicity given has been extensive and one-sided, in part because the prosecutors are not permitted to give interviews similar to what the defendants have done, being the Barnetts. So in a case like this, when there's so many people emotionally invested in it because they've heard this terrible story about a psychopathic girl with dwarfism in the media, it's going to be difficult to find a jury, even if they move the trial to another country. Some more info I thought I would relay to you guys that I found extremely interesting is from a very well put together Reddit thread with sources and links. Listen carefully because this is important. Back in June of 2010, experts at Peyton Manning Hospital confirmed Natalia is a minor and estimated her age to be 8 years old at the time. In June 2012, 2 years later, physicians at Peyton Manning Hospital did a total body examination of Natalia at request of the Barnetts, and they confirmed her age to be 11 years old. One of the experts who examined her was an endocrinologist, which is a type of doctor that specializes in disorders and diseases that involve hormones, which is the exact type of disease Natalia was born with. Despite two separate examinations at this hospital, 1 month later in July of 2012, the Barnetts legally changed Natalia's age to 22 years old. They did this even though they had experts tell them that she was a child. So how could they have changed Natalia's age in a court of law without the advice of professionals? Well, the Barnetts did have experts. They used a medical letter written by Michael's primary doctor, Dr. McLaurin, not Natalia's doctors, as evidence of her age being older. To make matters even more interesting, Natalia had absolutely no say in the changing of her age. She didn't have a lawyer represent her, and that's because Christine and Michael Barnett were granted an ex parte, which is a legal action that does not allow the opposing party from being represented if it's decided that it's in their best interest. As you probably know by now, Natalia is in the care of another family who is trying their hardest to legally adopt her. She hasn't spoken to the Barnetts since 2014, but the Barnetts have refused to release her into their custody, legally. Because of this, the new family can't get any financial assistance from the government to care for Natalia as her foster parents, but they still regard her as one of their family members and they've cared for her since 2014. When the new family tried to have her age legally changed back to her original birth year, 2004, Michael Barnett showed up to the guardianship hearing and provided this letter from his primary care doctor. You might remember it from a previous video dated 2016. The letter states that Natalia's birth certificate was grossly inaccurate and that she had been seen by an orthopedist and an endocrinologist, and neither was able to help substantially with age assessment. This we now know to be a false statement because there are hospital records on both the examinations of Natalia where experts stated she was first 8 years old, then around 11 years old 2 years later. This letter was also written by Andrew Philip McLaurin, someone who was not an expert on Natalia's condition, and he reportedly wasn't her regular doctor. Why did Michael Barnett provide a letter from a doctor that was not an expert and had no experience or skills in assessing Natalia's age and condition when there were other doctors, experts, who repeatedly said that Natalia was a child? Natalia's New Family just celebrated her 16th birthday, which is the same age that was determined by the experts at Peyton Manning Hospital. From videos and pictures on Facebook, recent videos and pictures, Natalia's grown much older than the photos that are circulating of her that show her to be tiny, showing a drastic transition, a transition congruent with someone growing from childhood to a teenager. This is something that probably wouldn't happen if Natalia was an adult when she was adopted by the Barnetts. I don't know about you guys, but I kinda like stopped growing when I was 16. Natalia also seems to be very happy with her new family. Obviously there's gonna be new information coming out in the future. It's always important to pay attention to all the facts as they come out. Who knows, maybe the narrative might change. We will keep you updated on any new information as always. For now, I'm gonna respond to some comments from my video, top 10 shocking facts about Natalia Barnett you won't believe. Kristen Nielsen said, how does this channel not get more views? I love these news stories. This channel actually does okay, especially right now. And one of the reasons why we're getting views is our coverage of Natalia Barnett. A Boring Taurus said, am I the only one who's getting annoyed with this topic? No hate. I realize some of you are getting annoyed with hearing about this, but guess what? You don't have to watch anything that you aren't interested in. I feel like it's my duty to continue updating the facts about a story that is controversial because you gotta remember that the media plays a huge part in swaying public opinion. I happen to have integrity, guys. Sarah N said, I don't want to sound stupid, but I don't understand how this is even going to trial. If they had enough convincing evidence of her age to get it legally changed, and further evidence to support this when the new family filed for guardianship and denied her adoption, I don't understand what else there is to debate. Haven't the Barnetts sort of proved themselves twice at this point? Sure, they might have proved themselves, but they also might have been untruthful as I stated in this video. So police won't file charges against anyone unless they have proof. Considerable proof. The police have been investigating the Barnetts for 5 years, since they fled to Canada and left Natalia in Indiana to fend for herself. That is it for me. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep watching, we put together a playlist for you with a bunch of Natalia Barnett videos. That's clickable on the screen right now. Make sure you leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it or if you learned something today, and subscribe so I can see you in a future IO video.